even as the Israel-Hamas war is raging, there are pro-Palestine rallies that are raging across the United Kingdom. Violence has erupted in a pro-Palestine rally in UK. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has condemned this violence. He's called the protesters quote-unquote thugs as well as Hamas sympathizers. More than hundreds have been arrested in the United Kingdom rally. It is the biggest pro-Palestine march to date, and protesters threw, of course, a lot of, it had turned violent, and they had clashed with police in Whitehall and in a self-proclaimed bid to in fact, sort of, I beg your pardon. Bottles were also used, metal barriers were thrown, and fighting had broken out as police tried to prevent approximately the 1,000 marchers from reaching the memorial for the 11 a.m. silence. Meanwhile, Rishi Sunak has of course called it violent and wholly unacceptable. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Sanjeev Srivastav. What is your sort of analysis regarding world leaders backing Israel and of course condemning terrorism, because it seems as if these protests are taking place in a lot of Western nations, particularly whether it's United States, Canada, or even the United Kingdom?
Well, Pia, you are absolutely right. Such comments which are coming from the world leaders condemning Hamas's act of terror on October 7th. I think this must be done. They must be condemned time and again, and that's what precisely the several world leaders are doing. And and in Britain, the reports which you have just mentioned, Pia, that one pro-Palestine rally was there, and people were there on roads, but to protest against this pro-Palestinian demonstrator, there were several other protesters. They came out in open, and they had some clash also. I think such kind of violent clashes are not acceptable in a democracy, and that's what British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has criticized, that those who indulge into the violent activities against the protesters, that is also not acceptable. And if someone has to express its opinion, you can do it peacefully. But going into and indulging into the violent act and attacking each other physically is completely unacceptable, and that's where Rishi Sunak has criticized those who indulge into violence. But at the same time, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak also have said that those who have come out in that rally, obviously they call themselves a pro-Palestine rally, but Rishi Sunak is clearly of the view that they are Hamas sympathizers. And certainly, Pia, one fake narrative which is being developed in the international community in several places, including European capitals and United States of America and other places, that this war is between Israel and Palestine, which is totally fake narrative. This war is not between Israel and Palestine. Israel is not fighting against the people of Palestine. Israel is not fighting against the people of Gaza. It is the war against Hamas. And Hamas is using civilians as human shields. They are putting all sorts of restrictions before a very, very strange situation before IDF, and that is why a lot of collateral damages have happened. And also the kind of attack they carried out on Israel was a barbaric attack. More than 1,400 people had died. They were brutally murdered on October 7th. More than 200 people, 239 people, they are still under their captivity. So I think this kind of a situation is unacceptable, and that's why Israel has launched this war against terrorism. And those wise leaders, those who are the leaders and nations, those who wish to see the victory of civilized forces over this barbaric terrorists, they are very much supporting Israel. And this terrorists, they wanted to promote this idea of a clash of civilization by disrupting the normalization process between the Arab and Israel. So I think there are two responses. There could be two responses to this kind of a conspiracy. One is that the physical territory of such terror organization like Hamas is ruling Gaza from 2007 onwards, that must be ended. And the way I think Hamas should also be decimated and destroyed the way IS was destroyed in Raqqa and Mosul. So I think physical territory, they must not be allowed to rule. And also, when they are promoting this idea of a clash of civilization, then I think another big response would be that to promote the idea of a dialogue among civilizations. So I think if efforts are made to come up with another effort for normalization process, which I believe it done, then I think that will be the biggest defeat of this terrorist. And I think the terrorists, they have exposed themselves on October 7th, and that's why world leaders, wise leaders, they have criticized them, unequivocally, and that's what precisely should be done.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.